Welcome back, True Seeker. Want to talk about an observation I just made. A lot of people are familiar with this. Back in 2017, shortly after becoming President of the United States, Donald Trump, while in Pennsylvania, told the story of the snake. And a lot of people looked at it and wondered if he was referring to himself as the snake in the story. If you have not heard that clip, take the time to listen to Donald Trump addressing the crowd in Pennsylvania, April 29th, 2017, about the snake. Of course, he's running for re-election, and the next president to take office after the next election, it will be January of 2025. And the exact date that the year of the snake will begin is January 29th, 2025, 9 days after Inauguration Day. In light of it being in the year 25, the year of the snake falling in the upcoming year 2025, there's something very interesting if you go back and look at when Donald Trump gave that speech. April 29th was the day. And then 25 days later, he was at the Vatican with Melania and Ivanka and the Pope. I'm sure you've seen the photo before. I have it down in the thumbnail that's on the screen. Donald Trump grinning, the Pope frowning. That photo's from May 24th, 2017, 25 days after the snake speech. And then what makes the 25 really interesting is Gematria. Again, you learn Gematria. In Gematria, Trump equals 25. So does Biden, which we'll get to. So does Pence, Trump's running mate. Remember, there was all this speculation at the beginning of Trump's administration that he might be the first president removed with the 25th Amendment. And how Mike Pence would have to participate in that. But also, Pope is 25. So is Vatican. So again, Trump gives the snake speech 25 days before visiting the Pope at the Vatican, May 24th, 2017. Roman Catholic Church, Romans 25. For the record, Earth is 25. You might recall in 2017, the same year both of those things happened, that was also the year, in the time of Pope Francis, the only Super Bowl he has blessed. He's only blessed one Super Bowl in the entire time he's been Pope, and it was the one where Brady had the 25-point comeback on 2/5, which was just days after Trump became president, and Trump made it real clear. He talked about it publicly numerous times that he was a big Tom Brady and Bill Belichick fan, and he'd be cheering for the Patriots in that Super Bowl. But in the Super Bowl blessed by the Pope and cheered for by the new president, Donald Trump, Brady has the 25-point comeback on 2/5. Remember, they moved the touchback to 25 yards that year from 20 to 25 for the NFL, big league-wide change. And again, it was the 97th NFL season, which is the 25th prime. So the point is, we've been talking a lot about Trump and Biden and where 25 fits in and the ongoing rituals. Biden announced he was running for president on April 25th. This year, he announced re-election on April 25th. And remember what happened when he first announced? John Havlicek of the Celtics died, and Joe Biden's Secret Service name is Celtic. So yeah, the snake, when Trump read it 25 days before his visit with the Pope. And here's what else I was thinking about with this. So again, if you're new here, Gematria, very simple practice of coding numbers into words. Again, this is Gematria. The way you get all these numerical values for all these words that equal 25, very simple. The alphabetic order, A is 1 up to Z is 26. Write out each letter as a number, so T would be the 20th letter, but you don't add 20 in this cipher for T, you add 2 because the numerology of 20 is 2 plus 0 is 2, so T becomes 2. R, the 18th letter, the second letter in Trump, R is 18, 1 plus 8 is 9, so R is worth 9. U, the 21st letter, 21 is 2 plus 1 is 3, so U is worth 3. M, the 13th letter, is 1 plus 3 is 4, so M is 4. P, the 16th letter, 1 plus 6 is 7, so P is 7. Add up the letters, Trump 25. So it's alphabetic order with numerology. But there are other ciphers. We traditionally talk about the alphabetic order with numerology, the reverse alphabetic order, just running the alphabetic order in reverse with numerology. All of these ciphers are very important to the rituals that are used with this system. And again, just notice how the name Donald, when you just use the alphabetic order, is 50, like America, like snake, 50 states. States, a word that starts with S, the letter that's coiled like a snake. But anyhow, there's something also called Jewish gematria, which pays tribute to the Hebrew system within English. The name Donald has the gematria of 119 in Jewish gematria. The day he gave the snake speech was April 29th, the 119th day of the year. It went with him being called the president-elect in the early hours of November 9th, the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall, when he ran on building a wall, and he ran on Reagan's campaign slogan, and Reagan said, "Tear down the Berlin Wall." Trump gets called 45th president-elect on the anniversary of its fall, plus Berlin Wall equals 45. But anyhow, Donald, 50, like America, like snake. He gave the speech April 29th, 17, 4 plus 29 plus 17, 50, a date fitting for Donald and snake. And again, April 29th is the 119th day of the year, Jewish gematria 119. If you've never seen Trump's Serta ad of him talking to digital sheep with the numbers 11 and 9 about being born for the job, wearing the same suit and tie that he ended up wearing for selection night when he became president. Again, if you've never seen that Serta ad from years before Trump was president, check that out. Oh, by the way, for people who've talked about or heard me talk about the short book we want to put together and get out and pound payment at these Trump rallies and try to wake the Trump people up to how he's part of the same thing that Joe Biden is, that we got to get past this two-party system that's enslaving us more and more year after year as we keep believing in the next candidate. Finally, they're going to fix it all. We got to stop this game that we're allowing to be played with our lives. So anyway, if you think maybe this is a top 5 example of who Trump is that should be presented to his supporters, let me know. Again, the Trumps are, a lot of the Trump supporters are Christians. This might really pertain to their mindset since they know these biblical stories. The serpent made to crawl on its belly. But anyway, perfect date for the snake tribute's what I'm making. And then also, again, 25 days before he's with the Pope, when the year of the snake upcomes 25. Remember when Trump posed with the Pope, it was May 24th, the 144th day of the year. Jesuit Order 144, the United States of America 144. Big number with the Jesuits. Again, the simulation at Jesuit Georgetown that Biden would beat Trump, the Transition Integrity Project, June 12, 2020, 144 days before the election, where Biden narrowly wins, Trump refuses to step down, at least deadly violence in America. Again, that was 144 days earlier. President Biden equals 144 as well. But anyway, the point I wanted to make here about 144 is, again, Trump met with the Pope on the 144th day of the year. From the snake speech to the death of Kobe Bryant, it was in the 144th week since the speech that Kobe died, who was known as the Black Mamba, who supposedly died in his Black Mamba helicopter a day after LeBron James passed him in points scored in Philadelphia, which is a biblically named place, the Church of Philadelphia, that gets the letter about the synagogue of Satan in Revelation 3. But again, LeBron passed Kobe in points scored in Kobe's hometown on a court with black snakes, going over the black snakes to pass Kobe, and then Kobe the Black Mamba's dead the next day. Again, this is in the 144th week. Remember, Kobe died at age 41 while traveling from Catholic Mass on the Pope's 41st day of his age. Again, there's so many tentacles that line up all these things, but I'm just trying to make the point how we know all this stuff is synced up with the Pope. We're on a calendar that's named after the Pope. We're on an English language that was standardized with the spellings we use today, the alphabet we use today at the same time the calendar came out. Again, we're trying to get people to wake up to who's controlling the whole show, from politics to the rigged sports that are so often online. But the 144th week from the speech, Kobe's death, and remember, if you look up Black Mamba venom, it stops people's hearts, and they buried Kobe in Corona Del Mar at the start of coronavirus, and then the jabs that the World Health Organization says are safe and effective. Okay, so yeah, we've covered, why the date was so perfect with the snake, how it's synced with the Pope. Remember, at the Vatican, you have this kind of architecture. A lot of people think that that's paying tribute to the serpent at the Vatican when you look at that. Snake's head, snake's eyes. If you look at that abstractly, you can see the symbolism with how it might be if a snake was staring straight at you, you know. Again, from the April 29th speech to the May 24th posing with the Pope, 25 days. Again, you had the 25-point comeback on 2/5 over the Falcons that year. Tom Brady's been somebody to be over there with the Pope. Not Pope Francis, but Pope John Paul II, who was Pope before Benedict and then before Francis. That's how long Tom Brady's been in the NFL. He's been there through all these popes. Also, one other thing about the day of Trump reading the snake. We talked about how this date had a 50 numerology. That's true. 4 plus 29 plus 17, 50. That you could also do 4 plus 29 plus 20 plus 17, which is 70. And I'm just going to pull up the calculator because I realized I wrote it out. I only typed it out here. I didn't take the screenshots. But I want you to see this. Vatican, 70 forwards, 119 in reverse. 70, 119. The 119th day of the year, that year it fell on a 70-date numerology. Francis, the first Jesuit Pope, 70, 119. Notice Francis is also 47, like Vatican's 47, like Trump's 47, like authorities 47, like government's 47, again, Republican 47, Democrat 47, DC 47. Big numbers in the capital city. Pretty much everything government related is 47. If I didn't say so already, White House 47, President 47, all roads lead to Rome, Caesar 47. Anyway. I guess for one more point that should be known, from Pope Francis's birthday to Trump reading that poem was 133 days later. And again, President's 133. And Trump's first debate with the other Republicans when they were doing the very first debate for the upcoming 2016 election, and there was a field of 20 candidates from Jeb Bush to the rest of them, Ben Carson. But the first time Trump spoke, Fox News was hosting the debate, and they put up the stat that Trump was the 133rd richest person in the world. And we said that day, we stopped it right there, and we said, are they telling us that Trump is the next president? President 133, White House 133, government 133. When Trump gave the snake speech, he did it 133 days after the Pope's birthday. It's biblical. We know the Bible as it is because of the Catholic Church. The head of the church is the Pope. The calendar is named after the Pope. The language crafted as it is at the same time. And again, 52-week calendar named after a Pope. Pope 52. Let's not forget from when Trump's Jesuit education began in 1964 at Fordham to 2016 when he became president-elect was 52 years. President, 52. White House, 52. We were talking about the 47s, but also the 52. Government, 52. Authority, 52. Kabbalah, 52. Gematria, 52. Tree of Life, that's the physical model for Kabbalah, 52. The Jewish word for Tree of Life, Etz HaChaim, 52. Big number. Big number. 52 cards in the deck, trump cards. Games being played with us. Authority, ruling over us by a code all 52 weeks of the year. And I guess just for one more, just to remind people that from Trump's birthday to the Pope's birthday is a span of 187 days. And again, Society of Jesus, 187. Washington, D.C., 187. When Trump had his GOP convention in Cleveland, right after LeBron won the finals. From the convention start 18/7, the 18th day of the 7th month, to Inauguration Day, again, a span of 187 days. Washington, D, 187, Society of Jesus. Again, the way they write it out, ancient and accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry at the Masonic HQ in D.C. Again, the Scottish Rite made by the Jesuits, 187. George Washington, 187. Holy Roman Empire, 187. Look at Holy Roman Empire and George Washington. The exact same in all but one cipher. And where Holy Roman Empire is 218, don't forget they say it ended August 6th, 1806, the 218th day of the year. And don't forget that's a big number with Trump, too. Like when he sent out his presidential alert, the first ever of its kind at 2:18 Eastern Time to the whole nation. And by the way, just a reminder that there are ciphers outside of the base ciphers. Again, we were talking about Jewish gematria. Notice what snake equals in Jewish gematria. It goes perfectly with his birthday. Snake is 146. Trump's birthday is 14/6. In satanic gematria, it's also interesting because it's 225, and the upcoming year, 2025, is the year of the snake. Something, in the time I've become aware of that, just listening to Trump, it seems that he likes to repeat the number 225. Trump seems to like to mention the number 225. Pay attention to that, because we're going to be hearing a lot of Trump for the next year and a half. See if the trend continues that he keeps mentioning 225. If you're new here, that's been a big number with things like George Floyd. George Floyd was killed on his 225th day of his age. Then Derek Chauvin got 22 and a half years in prison. And right after the news broke of George Floyd's death, then the news broke that the Catholic Church in Minnesota settled for $22.5 million for the sexual abuse of children. And then right after that, we got the story about George Floyd's second grade teacher, whose name was Waynell Sexton. So all this 225, and there's so many numbers to educate about. But if you just want to come here and search George Floyd 225, it should pull up the rituals. So, number of posts here, some other related topics. But yeah, there's also a movie called Lockdown 2025, which fits, and it's come out since the George Floyd thing happened, and again, it really brings it all together. So also in the headlines today, here we are on the 138th day of the year. You know, just to go back in time, let's go back to 2017 on this day, May 18th. Roger Ailes, who created Fox News, who propped Trump up and said he should run for president. That's the story. Remember, he dropped dead. Well, he dropped dead on Trump's 119th day and being in office. There's that number again. Vatican Francis Donald. Election called for him on 11/9 after talking to Digital Sheep 11/9. But Roger Ailes died on Trump's 119th day in office. And he died on May 18th, the 138th day of the year. Again, in the most simple cipher, Donald Trump's 138. The other way, Federal's 138. Nationals is 138. Dave Martinez 138. When the Nationals won the World Series with Dave Martinez, they did it 138 days after Trump's birthday. But yeah, Roger Ailes, the man behind Fox News, that had a lot to do with Trump and the bolstering of the Republican Party in the 21st century when Fox, 20th Century Fox, right at the end of the century, they launched Fox News. So, if you guys know Extra Caps, Dan Barrett, they've done good work in the past. Old comments from them on this. But, yeah, these posts are from, this is from May 18th, 2017, 6 years ago today. Roger Ailes dead at 77. Washington, D.C., the federal city on the 77th Meridian West. Flight 77 hit the 77-foot tall Pentagon 77 minutes after taking off. Spell out September 11th, 77, like World Trade Center, like Secret Society, like United States. But yeah, I mean, that's another thing that could make to me, if I'm doing a top 20 Donald Trump, I mean, Roger Ailes is a big name. Younger people, it might not mean anything to because they don't remember, but people who are my age, older, they'll be like, oh, that's wild. So anyway, here we are. The 6-year anniversary of Roger Ailes' death, and this is CNN's front page. Let's see if they've changed it. They'd had this up all morning. Oh, we finally got something different. Storm Shadow missiles have been used in Ukraine, UK says. So that they've bumped it down. Revelations deepen sense that a grave moment approaches for Trump. It's still up on the front page. It's just not the top story like it's been all morning. And again, 138th day of the year. Donald Trump 138. And grave situation. If you actually do that, search that phrase for Trump, it's been used many times for many years. I have old documentations of it on my site. Grave moment. Just the use of the word grave. You might recall when Trump was running for president, there was the Trump tombstone found in Central Park on May 23rd, 2016. And again, there's a lot of things that can be pointed out here. Central Park's 119. Central Park, another 119. Again, that's an older calculator. Let me just pull up the base ciphers again. Central Park, 119. And some of these other things are interesting. Okay, let's see. But yeah, this is how they did it. Trump, Donald J. 1946 to blank, made America hate again, they wrote, instead of make America great again. And it was found on Easter Sunday. Easter Sunday. It was found in what they refer to as the Sheep's Meadow. And I'll just write this out so you can see the familiar numbers that we just talked about. Sheep's Meadow, 133 and 52 like President, 191 and 56 like Society of Jesus. And it had the 144 encoding, which goes with Easter. And yeah, we were watching the date May 23rd at the time. Another ritual day for Trump. But yeah, just the fact that this was done, back when he was campaigning. Trump tombstone, grave situation. Remember the whole Capitol insurrection on 6/1, the 6th day of the first month, like the Civil War broke out in 1861, like how the Confederate flag was flying, like how the Confederate flag ended with a dead president. In the Jesuit plot with Guy Surratt, where Lincoln blamed the Civil War on the Jesuits. Again, just all of these themes going. And again, you had De Niro, who played taxi driver, who wanted to assassinate a politician, going hard against Trump. They've been giving us all these little clues about a great divisive moment coming. And when it does happen, it'll be a great deception. Will end up being Biden in the President Ford. If you've never seen what President Ford said about how we'll get the first female president in the Herbert Hoover Library, you got to check that out. Again, Kamala Harris was born the day Herbert Hoover died. But is there a big narrative coming with Biden? Could there still be one coming with Trump? Again, you just see that they're dropping all these clues around what's next to come. And again, history repeats itself. We're allowing history to repeat itself as they work overtime every day to divide people more and more, like they just so desperately want another civil war. I also just went back, just in light of yesterday we were talking about how the whole ritual with the Supreme Court yesterday did major ritual upholding essentially the assault weapons ban in Illinois, which sets national precedent. If you missed that work, check it out. It's the one with the Stephen A. Smith thumbnail. I think in that video I forgot to talk about how annoying it was that they had Stephen A. Smith I gotta look. You know what? We're gonna do in real time. We're gonna look at more at why they had Stephen A. Smith not just on ESPN talking about it, but all over Fox News, just all over the media yesterday talking about gun control. Stephen A. Smith, the ESPN sports talking head, as the Supreme Court makes their decision. But anyway, I wanted to go back and look more into Arturo Sosa and when he was selected, and then I found something funny. They selected Arturo Sosa, the current leader of the Jesuits, on the 476th anniversary of the Jesuits being recognized by the Roman Catholic Church. Again, September 27th, the day leaving 95 days left in the year, like their original purpose was to counter the 95 Theses. So, 476. Again, you got to look outside of the base ciphers to get gematria values that correspond with a number like 476. So you have to look in Jewish gematria, standard gematria, satanic gematria. We know that all of those ciphers are used by the Cabal from years of documentation. So if you want to look where the meaning of 476 might be to these people, you got to look there. So this happened in 2016, right? I noticed the word COVID equaled 476. The whole thing, as we documented, was synced up with the Pope and the Superior General. Happened under his watch, Arturo Sosa. Chicago Cubs equals 476. Remember, we loved the Cubs to win the World Series that year. Didn't realize how tied in it was with the Jesuits at that time. But the Cubs won the World Series shortly after this meeting. Beat the Cleveland Indians. Remember, they broke the 108-year drought when there's 108 double stitches on a baseball and Major League equals 108. And that movie's about Cleveland, who the Cubs beat. Alabama Crimson Tide's 476. They won the football championship in 2016. Water Tiger equals 476. Stands out to me because the Queen died in a big old Jesuit ritual in the year of the Water Tiger. Golden Escalator 476. Well, who won the election in 2016? Wasn't it Trump on the Golden Escalator? John D. Rockefeller 476. He died in history on May 23rd. You had the big Rockefeller death right when Trump was taking over. I should be saying becoming president. But Trump also likes that day, May 23rd, in satanic gematria. Donald Trump's 523. Donald Duck equals 476. Kind of sounds like Donald Trump. The Apprentice equals 476. What Trump was known for. The honorary degree of Masonry, where Freemasonry equals 58, and Trump won the 58th presidential election. Had a whole bunch of 58 rituals, including announcing from the 58-story Trump Tower. Censorship equals 476. You might recall when Trump became president, there were articles read about how 1984 jumped to the number one bestseller on Amazon. By the way, Amazon equals 25 like Trump. And think of the sick joke about a company that started with printing books when books are made out of paper and we're chopping down the Amazon. Boxes are made out of trees. Amazon boxes all over the earth. Anyway. Consumerism over common sense. But again, going back to the 1984 thing, something that was being brought up at the time that all of a sudden 1984 became the bestseller when Trump first became president was that, Trump had these parallels to 1984 because he was around the time saying things like, I don't like that publication over there is making fun of me. I wish I could just end them, just the things he was saying back then. People are saying, listen, this guy's calling for censoring things that critique him. And then next thing you know, censorship had happened before Trump got into office. Again, in 2012, Google scrubbed so much stuff that had to do with people questioning jabs. Jenny McCarthy, all that, just whoosh, all washed away in 2012 by Google. Big scrub of the jab questioners, But then, in the years after that, more and more things started to get censored. People questioning what was in the news, mass shootings, 9/11, the shape of the earth, just more and more stuff getting censored. And, that was going on while Trump was president. 2017 really seemed to hit a climax for the censorship. Trump's first year in office, that was my channel got deleted for the first time. And again, my channel got erased on Elon Musk's birthday, who's now doing more censorship at Twitter than before he was there. And as they're saying he's a champion for free speech, he's another one of these characters. But yeah, isn't that amazing? Censorship 476. People see Trump as a messiah. There's been rumors in Israel that he has a Hebrew gematria connection to Messiah. The Messiah equals 476. Trump death equals 476. Interestingly enough, I'm just looking at the phrases in the database. It doesn't mean all of these will come true. Grand finale 476. And I think we're seeing that right now for the United States of America as we know it. Doesn't mean the world's going to end, but this nation as we know it is ending. I mean, the idea of freedom of speech, like people don't even value it anymore. It pretty much doesn't exist. A lot of our amendments just don't exist. You hardly have the right to bear arms. You hardly have the right to escape search and seizure by the government, so they're pretty much listening to you at all times through these devices that are private but partnered with the government. Things like Facebook that just happened to launch the same day that the military Facebook project done by DARPA ended. That ended the same day Facebook launched. Facebook's headquarters looks like a military fortress. That civilians cannot go in. Civilians aren't welcome on the big tech campuses. You need clearance. But yeah, I thought that was wild, all these 476s and just how that fit in with that time frame. And remember, like the Cubs winning the World Series, then Trump, part of his administration, became one of the people that was an executive with the Cubs. That was one of the stories. It's like, oh, that's nice. Baseball team wins, so Trump's like, I want winners. We'll take one of the Cubs for this administration. A story for America. But okay. And then, we were just talking about the Picasso thing on Mercuralia. Now you got Andy Warhol's controversial thing about, taking images of photos of Prince and then repainting them. Today's exactly 369 weeks after Prince died. 369. Supposedly, according to Tesla, the magic numbers of the universe. But Also, remember, we just talked about how Picasso died 201 days from his birthday. Guess who else died 201 days from their birthday? Andy Warhol. And we know 201 is the number of the Jesuits and the Illuminati, and the Illuminati was founded by the Jesuits. And again, it just goes back to that Da Vinci Code at the start of the 21st century, or was it the end of the 20th? It was around that same time. Dan Brown, but enlightening about the Illuminati, the Catholic Church, artwork. I think if there's somebody out there that likes gematria and knows a lot about art, I think you might want to do a deeper dive on art. I haven't done a whole lot of research on art, but I'm just saying that, they brought up Picasso and Andy Warhol this week, and both men just happened to die 201 days from their birthday. So today's ruling was 7-2, like Jesuit order. Bring that number up a lot. We talked about it last night on TFR. Today's 85 days after Warhol's death anniversary. Warhol equals 85. He died at age 58, The Reflection. Prince died in his 58th year of life. Purple Rain, 58. Remember, Vanity died the day of the 58th Grammys, in the year that Trump won the 58th presidential election. Yeah, Trump was all synced up with the Queen. That's a whole nother topic. Prince died on the Queen's birthday. Prince died on the Queen's 90th birthday. Cavaliers 90. The Cavs won the finals that year. Then Trump's in the same building. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to keep this as short as possible and get the main points in here. But yeah, right now, again, I'm working on 2 little short books. I'm working on them side by side so they kind of have a flow together as well. I want to start putting out a lot of short books that can be handed out at events. Right now, again, there's 2 people supporting the travel tier, which I understand because, again, it's $100 a month. It's a big donation amount to ask for, but I was hoping that maybe there's some wealthy people in the community that could bankroll the idea of doing a lot of traveling each month. Is there 100 rich people in this world that think my work is worth it and me going out and speaking in public places is worth it? Is there 100 people that can pony up $10,000 a month combined so we can travel to, 3-4 places, be able to fly there, be able to get a decent night's sleep, the other costs, maybe help, subsidize some other people to travel there as well. Again, we got to do big things, you guys. We got to get out there with this knowledge in a big way. We got this stuff really well figured out. We've proven our point. We can debate with anybody out there. We need to get the message out there. Now's the time. Things are bad. They're getting worse. Trump, a lot of people think, it's amazing that a lot of people think Trump's going to come back and save us. These people need to be woken from their slumber. Humanity needs to wake up, and they need to figure out how to come together to resist the tyranny that's ruling over us. If we cannot do that, then we're defeated. So, and I don't know why we couldn't do it if we all didn't start working together. There's a lot of us. They control us all because they got the technology everywhere that controls us. You see, the same technology is controlling everyone. The same stories, the same screens, the same personalities, the same talking heads. There's really not that many of them. There's a lot of us. We get out everywhere. It might make people think twice. So, but yeah, we'll keep this one short and sweet, you guys. Again, thank you. I got to hop over on the Patreon. And have a great rest of your day. Thank you to everyone who supports the Patreon. For those of you into the sports, we'll be talking about it shortly. Until next time, everybody.